Retail is dying, and let's see how we can dig down into this and understand what is really going on. Yes, it sounds a little dramatic what I'm saying. I've been in the world of retail for more than 23 years. I've recently stepped down from that industry. And the reason why I want to talk about why retail is dying, I'm talking more precisely the brick and mortar. I don't want to scare anybody, don't want to alarm anybody. It's not going to disappear tomorrow morning. But here are my reasons why I think retail is on a decline and why people will shift more and more online. Is it the best? Maybe not, but here are my points why retail is at the point that it is right now. So, to give you a little bit of a background, I owned a consumer electronics business, brick and mortar, for 16 years, worked in it for 23 years. So I do have a really good background and knowledge of retail. Am I a specialist? No, I'm not. But am I knowledgeable? Absolutely. So do leave a comment below. You have any questions, you think I can give you advice. I do consult, I do coach. I've built a multiple $1 million business in the years, and I think I can help the best I can. So let's dig down into what I mean about consumer or retail. Why is it dying? First point, and this point was brought up to me from a client I was coaching, and he went on a trip and discovered that he hadn't been really in stores and stuff like that since the return of normality since COVID. And he realized at what point customer service has declined. And it is something that I would repeat and emphasize on a regular basis with my team, is the importance of customer service. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand customer service, don't understand how it works and why it's so important. Customer service is the backbone of a business. If clients are not taken care of, why will they do business with you? Just think about it. They have no reason to do business with you if you're not giving them the service deserved. And it was very special having a conversation with that client, because every place he was at, he had a comment. Was it always negative? No. Was it neutral? Were they positive? They were very rare. And it's something that we're going to see more and more. And the reason why is because there is a shortage of workers. But even worse than that, there's a shortage of skilled workers. So people are getting jobs in retail businesses because there's a shortage. And they don't have the skills needed. And employers are accepting it. And it's becoming more and more common. I see it in restaurants. I see it in shopping malls. They have all these wonderful stores that are often empty. There's not much in them. And the staff has no clue how to sell. They don't know how to sell. They don't know what customer service is. They think customer service is a counter, like when you go to Walmart. Well, customer service that's a title that they put so you know where to go. But customer service is everywhere in a brick and mortar business. Everything that goes on is customer service. And I have a feeling most people do not have a good understanding of what it is. It's the backbone. And that's a client I was coaching, and we were talking about it, and he said, my experience was just poor. Like, you already have to go into stores, you have to physically be there, and the experience is mediocre. It's not fun. I'm not being well served, and I have to almost take the decisions myself. Like, he was just explaining it, and I'm like, I totally feel you. I understand. I had to emphasize it so much with my team that in this day and age, as I'm doing this video, um, e-com is a big thing. People are buying online. Amazon is huge. eBay still exists. We have all these possibilities of ordering online and getting exactly what we want when we want it. Yes, okay, we have to wait. We don't have that instant gratification. And yes, I totally agree. A lot of people like the shopping process. I personally am not a big shopper. I'll go for what I need, but I'll check and see where it is and I'll go. Spend hours in a mall, not my thing, but I see it. People like it, and I agree with it. Awesome. And I built my career and my business on people shopping, so I understand it. But what's happening right now is there's this huge decline. Like I said, people don't understand customer service. So let's break it down a little. What is customer service? Well, first of all, if you just break it down very quickly, we are serving a customer. They are the paying person. They're the one buying. They have the power. We can have control in our sales and how we work, our persuasion, whatever. But at the end of the day, they are the one with the money. They are paying. They are the ones that are saying yes or no. We just have to figure out what they need and find their needs as best as we can and serve them. But what people forget, they think, they're coming into the business, they're going to come and buy something, and I'm just going to go get a box. Well, that's taken in order. We can see those in big box places like Walmart. You pick up what you want and you leave. There's not really any good quality customer service, but you're going there for a price. But when you go into more higher end businesses, you're going in for the service, the experience, the feeling. You want that. And the client mentioned a shoe store, which I won't say the brand, went into that shoe store and he said, there was no shoes in the damn store. I'm like, what? He says, yeah, there was no shoes in the store. Like, they had very little shoes. They're specialized in shoes, but there wasn't that much of a selection. Most of them were probably now online. And he says, the staff, well, they don't have a lot of staff. There was a lot of clients, and they didn't have the qualifications to give good quality service. Some were serving one, another one was serving many at the same time. Both are good, both are bad. They have their ways of working. You got to be very skilled to serve multiple people at once. And the best way to give personalized service is to serve one at a time. But that's it. It's how do you balance all that? And then you have the ones that just don't want to work. They're like just there for the paycheck. Well, the paycheck comes from serving people. If the business doesn't make money, well, your job does not exist. So it's how do you do that balance of customer service, serving all these people, but doing it in a fashionable manner. For sure, shoes, I put that as an example, but everybody needs shoes. And we're talking about a brand, like a company that's pretty big. So their shoes, like, you're expecting a certain level of service, and you get into this place and you don't get that service. And that's because there's a lack in the knowledge of the personnel. And it's pretty obvious these days that there's a lack of training in that. They don't have, the cultures are not well installed. People are pretty much just going because they need a job, and they're getting hired very easily in these beautiful stores that don't understand how to give good quality service. So it's a problem. We're dealing with this problem regularly. And it was something I needed to address all the time with my team, because if they don't come back, well, who's going to buy from you? Clients have to come back. So it's a balance that has to be always there of, am I giving the best experience to my client? And the other point, so I'll go to point, let's say point number 2. I didn't really say how many points I was going to have. I'll go to a second point that he brought up, and I'll have a third one, and I'll keep it to that. The second point was, this client of mine has a tendency, he's in management and stuff, and he understands business and operating a team, and he says, I like to pay attention to see who's in charge. If I'm in a restaurant or if I'm in a business or whatever, I just like to know who's in charge, who's the one orchestrating, or at least keeping control of what's going on so that clients are satisfied. And he says, I've realized that more and more, there are none. There's no one. There's nobody orchestrating. There's nobody in place to make sure people are in check and that clients are getting the quality of service they want. So you have a bunch of employees with no one to keep them in check. So that doesn't work either. And we're seeing it in restaurants, we're seeing it in stores, we're seeing it in even in hotels. Like there's such an imbalance in the quality of service that it's becoming a little ridiculous. And people have gotten complacent, or I'd say comfortable, with certain ways of doing from the pandemic, that they realize, oh, we're saving money, but what they're doing is they're sacrificing their customer service big time, like very, very, very bad. Like it's very bad. And to just come up to my third point, the customer experience is very important. This client of mine was in a hotel, he went to a restaurant, went to stores, and pretty much everywhere he went, he said, I got average or poor service. Average or poor, not okay. No, like most of the places he was disappointed. And I know this person isn't that picky. He just wants good service for what he's paying. And I've seen it for years, and I've mentioned it for years that things are not going to get better, and we can see it. And what most employees do not realize, and employers and managers, is that with this mentality of giving poor service, they are just fueling the online service. But you gotta understand that people like to interact. We are human beings. We like to be in contact with people. We like to connect. That's who we are. We are human beings. And retail, for me, a business, to go into a mall and all that, I find it's a healthy interaction. But we're causing people to go online more and more, and we're going to start losing that contact that is so important. But most people don't realize that part of it is we need that physical communication, talking to people, seeing people, and stepping out of our comfort zone. It's very easy to sit on your sofa, pull out your phone, go on Amazon or Best Buy, whatever, name this business you want, and you order. It's very easy. I actually do it, and I have to be careful because I like to support my local businesses where I live, because it employs people that live in the community, people that have children, people that want to retire, that have businesses, that are making a living from it. So you do your best to support them. Where I put a line is when service does not meet what it should be. So if service sucks, well, I'm sorry, I'm going to shop somewhere else. And that's just the basics. And I'm seeing frustration from businesses and employers and employees because clients are buying online. well, they're not doing it right. Stop being frustrated. Turn around and say, hey, what can I do better? Not why are people going somewhere else? What am I doing wrong? We have to look inside in the mirror, see what we are not doing correctly. And it's something that has to be done regularly. It's a self-reflect. The employer has to do it, the business has to do it. All of that has to be done. And when it's done correctly, you can accept that there are mistakes and that you're trying to be better. Every client needs the service they require, and some are picky, some are tough. I've had all kinds of clients, but at the end of the day, it's their money. And if you want to have a transaction with them and you accept to have the transaction with them, well, give them the service they deserve. That's, in my mind, the most important, is give them what they deserve. It's not the old golden rule of client is always right and all that. It's none of that. It's just Amazon, you don't argue with them. If you want to return something, you return it. You check the policy. Well, businesses have the same thing. What I find frustrating is how they are irregular. Some employees say yes, some say no. It all depends. It depends on the boss, on the manager, all kinds of stuff. It's yes or no. It's that simple. Just make them clear, your policies. Make your customer service clear. Make things clear so clients know what to expect every time they set foot in your business. And I'm just discouraged of seeing how poor that is these days. And I go to a lot of businesses and I go to a lot of places, and I just feel like I would have to say something, get that urge of saying, hey, like, you shouldn't be doing it like that. But at the same time, I know there's so many people that have this ego in the way, and even if I speak up, it won't give any results. So I don't. But I see it, and I could go see the owner or whatever and say, can I offer you my services? I can maybe give a training, help your team to understand the importance, the impact they have on their clients and all that. I could, but it's always very tough, because if that is going on, it starts from the top and it's going down, and it's what it is. So just to finalize and close on this, I don't want to go on a huge rant, but at the same time, I just find it very important that people know is, do not forget the importance of customer service. It is so important, and I see so many places not take on responsibility for their acts. That is a big point. I won't go on forever on it, but I'll see it like, oh, it's same client again, was in a restaurant and he was waiting for his drink was not arriving. Oh, sorry, it's the barmaid, she was swamped, had too much work, so it was taking time. Okay, then food arrives, drinks arrive late, drinks were not good, there was a mistake in the order, but it was always the fault of someone else than the person waiting the table. Well, there's one thing that is very important. We must take responsibility for the situations. It's not somebody else's fault. When I was in my business, I wasn't saying, oh, I'm sorry, it's the employee that screwed up, it's his fault. No, it's 100% my fault. Something went wrong is because I did not train that person correctly, or I didn't give the correct information, or they didn't have what they needed to complete the task correctly. I must take full responsibility. Well, if you're waiting a table, you have full responsibility of that person. If you're answering a client in a business, or you're on the phone or whatever, you are the one to take full responsibility for that situation. You're not pushing it off to somebody else. It's my boss, it's my manager, it's the cook, it's the guy in the warehouse or whatever. You're the one serving the client. Give them the service they deserve, and whatever happens in the back end, well, you got to figure it out. Don't push the problems onto someone else. And I see that constantly. People not taking responsibility for the situation. If you want clients to give you a good tip or to say thank you or to come back and deal with you, give the service and fix the back end problems that we should not see and should not hear about. On that, I'm Jason from JT Consulting. I just wanted to get that out. I find it's so obvious these days, but for somebody who doesn't have that eye of seeing what's going on in the retail business, I just thought it would be a good insight for people to understand. And maybe next time, ask to try and elevate the service that you're going to receive or give if you are in sales or you do work in a business. And I do want you to comment, give me your advice. I'm not a specialist at it, but don't worry, I have enough experience that I can actually talk about it, and I obviously see when service is not good. And anything, like, reach out to me if ever you want to maybe get some services from me, because I can actually really help. I am fully bilingual, English and French, so if you do have a business that's in French, I can absolutely coach and consult in French, and I can do it in English. It would be my pleasure to give this service. On that, have yourself an excellent day and keep working on that customer service.